All right, what is going on, everybody? It is trade deadline week in the NBA, and we had a trade go down yesterday involving De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go over a couple games that are going to go on tonight. And yeah, we've been talking about the Luka Doncic Anthony Davis thing that came out of the blue, came came from somewhere. Nobody saw it coming. But the other big name that was actually on the market was De'Aaron Fox, and he finally got moved. I'm going to give you the full trade details here in a second, but if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment them down below. If you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. Um, the full details for the Zach LaVine, uh, De'Aaron Fox trade. De'Aaron Fox is heading to San Antonio after spending all of his career in Sacramento, and Zach is going to his third team in his pretty long NBA career. And the Bulls got back some stuff um, from various teams. Let's get into the details. The San Antonio Spurs get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. Sacramento Kings get Zach LaVine, City Sudoku, a 2025 first round pick um, from the Hornets, a 2027 first round pick from the Spurs, a 2031 first round pick from the Timberwolves, and three second round picks, one in 2025 and two in 2028. Um, the Bulls definitely got the short end of the stick here. They got Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Herter, and their own 2025 first round pick back from the Spurs. Um, there are so many angles we can talk about this from. There are just so many. I want to talk about um, De'Aaron Fox first. Um, and just a little bit about his time in Sacramento. He was drafted by Sacramento in 2017, 2018. Um, he was the fifth overall pick. He has 7 years experience, and throughout his time with the Kings, there were a lot of ups and downs. Um, he improved greatly. I really like the way he evolved as a player. Um, he led this team alongside a bunch of different guys throughout his 7 years there. His most successful season with the team was in 2022 2023. They were 28 and 34, and they lost in the first round, but they broke one of the longest playoff droughts in sports history. So he can have that feather in his cap. Um, I just think this is a great trade for Sacramento to get off a guy in such short notice. Obviously, we didn't really demand a trade. The Kings asked him if he wanted to get traded, and he said sure. Um, he played about what was this 514 games for the Kings in his time there. He was an All Star 1 year. That was in 2022, 2023. And to get rid of him on such short notice for a guy Zach LaVine, who we'll get into in a little bit, I think is pretty good value. I mean, you don't want this to linger. I mean, he's one of the one guys from this other era of Kings basketball where you actually really sucked. Um, and now for the Kings, we can talk about the Kings roster now essentially. Um, let's see names that pop out. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan, Keon Ellis, big on the defensive end. Um, Zach LaVine, obviously there. Um, Keegan Murray, Demontis Sabonis, and Malik Monk are the names that stick out. Um, we'll talk about them more in depth here in a second. I want to talk about this past era a little bit more. Um, the Spurs are getting a career 21 point per game guy, almost said four steals, 1.4 steals a game, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. His free throws are at 70, around 70. Um, his 3 point percentage fluctuates, but for a career, he's shooting 33%, which isn't necessarily terrible. And he averages around 33 minutes. And I think I said in my last video, he is relatively healthy and he will play games for you. And he has shown that he is a clutch player. He is a all around player now, I would say. He can get in his 3 point mode. He can get into the mid range. Obviously, he's always been a great finisher with his speed and athleticism. And yeah, I think the Spurs the Spurs got the deal done, man. They really got the deal done. Let's talk about them and what the Spurs got out of this. So I would assume their starting lineup. Okay, there's some discourse around whether um De'Aaron Fox and the veteran Chris Paul, who the Spurs signed this last offseason, are going to start in the same backcourt. I don't think they should. At least not every game. I think defensively, not to say Chris Paul's bad, but like I just don't want that. I mean, if you really want to trust Wemby to make up for those blow bys and everything, go for it. But I think the starting lineup would probably be I would start Fox, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes. No, Harrison Barnes doesn't start. He's not starting. What am I talking about? Any one of these forwards. I mean, you have Keldon Johnson here. You have Jeremy Shohan. You have Devin Vassell. Um, basically, the point I'm trying to make is that this team has a lot of um, lineups they can go to now. Um, and the big deal is De'Aaron Fox is playing with Victor Wembanyama now, and the Spurs finally got Victor his second All Star in his prime, which is absolutely huge for this team. I watched my video back when I was talking about potential De'Aaron Fox trades, and I think I said I liked Houston and then I liked San Antonio as the 1-2 for who should get De'Aaron. And I'm not in the video I said I wouldn't be mad at it, and I'm not mad at it. And the more I think about it, and the more I think about how much pressure De'Aaron relieves from Victor to having to create his own shot, or not create his own shot, but have all the defensive attention on him essentially. You know, unless one of these young guys is having a great game, like Stephon Castle has had some great games. Keldon Johnson has had some great games. Um, obviously, Chris Paul can have a Chris Paul game that's like 15 points, 10 assists, but that's not really what I think the Spurs they need somebody like him to command the floor and set guys up, but they need somebody to actually be able to take the pressure off Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron's that guy. And I just listed all his stats and everything, and I I I, I said I think it's important to have your rookie struggle. I think it's important to not your rookie, your young player in Victor Wembanyama to struggle a little bit, to have to learn, to get bailed out by a trade is sort of the new NBA stuff. I'm always a firm proponent of keep drafting until you can't draft anymore. You know, like what the OKC Thunder did was they had huge capital, huge draft picks, and they just kept drafting and drafting and drafting and drafting, and they filled out those spots with young guys. Jalen Williams, Jay Williams, Chet Holmgren, bunch of good guys off the bench, and then you start bringing in the Alex Caruso's from the Bulls. You start bringing in the Isaiah Hartensteins, who had a breakout year with the Knicks the year previous, and you fill in these guys around Shea, your MVP front runner right now. Now, granted, Shea's a guard and has the ball in his hand a lot more, and Victor Wembanyama is a center, and maybe your star center, your newly minted All Star center in Victor Wembanyama needs more nurturing and needs more time. You know, and I can understand that if that's the angle the Spurs are going from. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is. It's crazy to say he is 27. He's in his prime right now, and guards like him typically don't age well. But who knows in this day and age of the medicine they have available to them, the all the stuff the medical staff has available to them, the training staff has available to them. You know, De'Aaron could age well. This is an immediate term um, trade. It helps them now, obviously, but I think it also isn't too long term of a deal. You get what is it, 30, 27, 20, 29, 30, 30. You get like 6 years of De'Aaron Fox, and by that time, Victor Wembanyama will be in his prime, and then you work it out from there. And obviously, this isn't the only move you make in those 6 years. There are going to be more moves made, but this is a great start. Um, to move into Zach LaVine, who spent most of his not most of his where's his basketball reference here? He spent most of his career in Chicago. 8 years. He was traded to Chicago in 2017, 2018. Let's see here, 2017, 2018. His best year with the Bulls was a 46 and 36 season, record wise. That was in 2021, 2022. The um the Sacramento Kings are getting a 24 point per game guy. A high turnover rates, 2.9. Um, his steals and blocks aren't there. He's in a defensive guy right now. His assists 4.3. His his rebounding 4.4 or 4.1. Pardon me. Um, and his free throw. He's a superb free throw free, free throw shooter. Wow, at 83%. Um, 3 point range. He's at 39% for his career with the Bulls, which is crazy. Um, he's always been a pretty superb 3 point shooter since he's been with the Bulls. Um, he shot 41% 1 year, which is crazy. Um, yeah, he's not he's only played 82 games once, and that was in 2015, 2016, and he has gotten nowhere near 80 games. He got to 77 in 2022, 2023, but he normally doesn't get anywhere near 82 games, which is concerning. Um, I read out the roster for you guys. I think I'll dip and dabble in what I think the starting lineup would be for the Kings. It's probably gonna be ooh, it's gonna be Monk at point guard, LaVine at the two, uh, DeRozan at the three, Keegan at the four, and DeMontis at the five. Now, there's been some speculation that Keon Ellis, who has made his name in defense, some nights he'll just not be able to be taken off the court at the end of games simply for his defensive abilities, and that leaves either Zach, DeMar, or Keegan getting pushed to the bench in crunch time. That is not a question I have the answers for at the moment. I don't I don't know. I don't know where that happens. I think, and this is my thing with the whole Zach LaVine thing. I don't think Zach LaVine puts up empty stats on bad teams. I just think he's been put in bad situations, and if he performs well here, I think he can fix that narrative. I just don't know if Zach LaVine is a championship level guy, and I don't know if the Kings are a championship level team right now. I don't like this team. I don't. You already did the DeMar DeRozan Zach LaVine experiment in Chicago, um, and we can we can look it up here. The we can look it up here. I mean, DeMar played in Chicago from 2021 to 2024. He was a two-time All-Star there in Chicago. Um, let's see, 2021 to 2021. Yeah. So they together they put together 40 win seasons, 40 win seasons. But you also have seasons here where um they won 31 games and they won 39 games. And I don't know. I don't know. I just I don't like the Zach LaVine DeMar DeRozan thing. I didn't like it in Chicago and I don't like it here. Do I think it's going to end any differently? I don't think so. I think they're just going to be a team. They're going to be a team out west. They're going to be what they are. And this is a very lateral move. This is a very Sacramento Kings move in the sense of they're just going to go out there and play basketball and they're going to have some great games. I mean, they gave up a guy. I think he was the last guy of that era of Kings basketball. De'Aaron Fox was because a lot of these guys are either have been on the Kings in the past and just have come back, or they've been drafted more recently, and it's a new day in Sacramento, and I think it's just gonna be mid. It's gonna be middle of the pack. They're gonna have some great games. I like Domantas Sabonis. I don't know how well I like Zach LaVine next to Domantas Sabonis. I don't think I like Malik Monk starting. They Malik Monk isn't a starting caliber guy. I mean, maybe he could be. Maybe this is his chance to prove it. But Malik Monk to me has always been a six man. He's always thrived as a six man. And if they're gonna try to run Zach LaVine at the one, I think that's a mistake as well. But for me, do we talk about the Bulls? I mean, should we? I mean, the Bulls got the Bulls will continuously always get the short end of the stick. Um, I'm never surprised with the Bulls anymore. I'm never surprised. The Bulls just continuously make bad moves, and they got a bunch of guys. And I'd be very interested to see what happens the next few days if they just continue to blow it up. Obviously, Nikola Vucevic, an all-star center, is still on their team. They have Lonzo Ball, who's played very well coming back from that catastrophic knee injury. Um, they have a young guy like Patrick Williams. They have pieces to move still, and maybe they do that this week, or maybe they do that in the off season. But I think it's just a Bulls move. The Bulls will continuously be bad. The San Antonio Spurs won this deal, this three-team deal, and yeah, that's it. That's all we'll talk about the De'Aaron Fox trade. Let's move into some games tonight. Got a few ones coming up. The rest of the week we got games. Yeah, yeah. Even this weekend we got games. Cool. All right. Into our more regularly scheduled programming here. Boston at Cleveland. Um, Boston beat Philadelphia the other night when they were down big, and that was very impressive. I don't think Boston should have been in that situation at all, but it was very impressive to see them come back and fight. Um, but give me, I'm gonna take Cleveland, man. I took Cleveland last time, I think, and they lost when they played Boston. But give me Cleveland and Los Angeles Lakers at Clippers. Um, man, give me the Clippers. Um, I think this Lakers team is depleted right now, and without like some of their guys because they traded a lot of pieces away, I could see the Clippers rolling out of bed and really wanting this one. Um, they put together a pretty great stretch here. The Clippers have, so I'm not gonna count them out. So give me Cleveland and give me Clippers tonight. Give me two home teams, and yeah, that's it. Again, it is trade deadline week, so there will be stuff happening, hopefully, and yeah, we're creeping up on the deadline day. Obviously, like I said, all hoops this week, um, and yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to hear my thoughts about the Luka Doncic trade and everything, it's a two-parter. I'll link the second part in the top right corner. Just click it. If you want to hear my thoughts on that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Cheers.